Hi, I'm Joe Wainz, Productivity Energizer at TurtleWorks, and today I want to talk about self-service. What is self-service? So it's this idea that if you make it easy for your customers to work with you, for your customers to buy from you, that makes you a sticky vendor, somebody they want to continue working with. Because if it's easy for them to work with you and buy from you, their administrative costs go down. So it's actually cheaper for them to keep working with you. It's also true internally. If your staff find it easy to work to get the tasks done for a customer, if they find it easy to work with a customer, it also reduces their administrative costs. It also makes their life easier. And their morale has improved actually. So this is the third video in a series related to how we can use Microsoft 365 tools to improve the way you're working. And this one again is focused on self-service. I have a list of possible solutions that can be built using the 365 suite. Some of these we've done for customers, some of these we've talked about with customers and haven't done, and some of these are great ideas that we just need a place to make it happen. So the first solution in the list is a customer project portal. So this is something that we actually use with our clients when we have a project with them. It gives us a place to have a task list. It looks like a Kanban board and it's perfect for when we're running development, when we have features or fixes that we need to get done from a programming configuration perspective. So there's a column for not started, in development, ready for testing, and complete. Now the customer can see this list as well as us. So there's no Excel file being emailed around. There's no emails for the most part related to any of these tasks because the tasks have a place for comments and a place for notes. So when an item is in the ready for testing column, the customer knows that they can go and try out that feature and provide us with feedback like, hey, worked as expected, or can you increase the font size, or it's supposed to do this, but it's doing that. Then our developer can respond to any issues that came up related to that task, or it gets moved to completed and we're done. But we've got a nice snapshot. We don't have to look through all our email to figure where we're at on a project. It's all right there, very concise. It also gives us a place to store documents related to that project, like requirements or specs. We can have a status dashboard, timeline. So Planner gives us the ability to do some timeline work. And there's a Microsoft project sort of version of Planner that also gives us a really nice looking timeline and dependencies. The Teams channel, of course, lets us do direct messaging with all of the people involved in the project. It's a great place to schedule meetings. We can, of course, go back and watch the recordings of those meetings and see the transcript. Yeah, so yeah, that's solution number one. Solution number two is order tracking and purchase history hub. So this is something that we actually did for a client, and in their case, it saved them about 22 grand a year in reduced administrative costs. But it's a a SharePoint list, some Power Automate to send alerts, or if needed, SharePoint has its own alerting feature as well, and Power BI. So here's a mock-up of what it could look like. So hey, these are my orders. These are some metrics related to my orders. There's some messaging going on, etc. And in like I said, they saved about 22K a year. The customer can go get the information they need when they need it. What used to happen for my client was the customer got a new agreement, they would email it to my client, So everything was sitting in somebody's inbox or sitting on a desktop somewhere. The ability to respond to questions could take a day or two because they wouldn't be in the office, they'd be out traveling, they couldn't get to the file on the desktop. Like, it's just a real sort of um, old school type of managing what's going on in the business. At this point, their customers love how easy it is to get information. Their customers really are having that experience of it's easy to work with you, it's easy to buy from you. So they're happy. They've actually come right out and said it's reduced their administrative costs. Document management. So ISO Document Center is the first time I had to do anything related to document management. So a lot of manufacturing companies go through that process of getting ISO certified or some other quality certification. And there's a place where documents need to be controlled, or that's part of the process. So 365 has great tools, specifically SharePoint. It's built for document management. It is a full-blown document management system with versioning and control and approvals. All of those pieces are there for you to leverage. But you can use it for technical documents, requirements, project plans, any place that you need to control documents. You can use SharePoint and document libraries and Power Automate. So yeah, let me see what else we have here. So at a client needed to get ISO certified, they were working with a vendor to go through that process. The vendor had their own software that they were selling. And the client also knew that SharePoint could do it. They saw the benefits of SharePoint for a bunch of other things. And we just went down the SharePoint road and saved them $25,000 in licensing costs. So if you already own 365, you already own a document management system, you don't need to buy another one. Approvals, I can't say enough. The whole idea that you need to control who has access to what, meaning you need to make sure that the people out on the floor or the public are only seeing the documents you want them to see, the latest that has gone through an approval process. So you also need the ability to edit documents and make sure that only the people editing and only the people who are reviewing and approving see those documents. And it's only once a document has been approved that a version number gets updated and then that document is automatically published. So the public and the people on the floor are seeing the latest and greatest again. All those features and tools are inside of 365. Customer Communication Hub. So this is more standard like Microsoft Teams and channels and the ability to do direct messaging, to send instant messages back and forth, to have a place to store files related to that customer, to have a place for them to collaborate with you. Everything's encapsulated. When I have a meeting, that's great. Guess what? The meeting's recorded. The transcript is there again inside of Teams. So everything is there from a communication perspective. And finally, we can use an AI-powered chatbot to be an AI-powered FAQ bot in your environment. So your customers can get answers from this chatbot when you're not in the office or without having to bother anybody. And that chatbot can pull data from SharePoint, ERP, CRM, any system that has an API or a database that we can get access to. Really frees you up. And of course, it's available 24/7. And the chatbot can be programmed to escalate to a human agent when it makes sense. So it's kind of the best of both worlds. So that's my list. I want to leave you with a statistic and 2 links. One is over 67% of customers prefer using a form of self-service rather than talking to a customer service representative. So the customers want to be able to take care of themselves. When they're working in a flow, when you're working in a flow, you don't want to be disrupted. You want to know what you got to do next and what you got to do next and what you got to do next. you're out there kicking ass getting stuff done. And as soon as you have to stop and try to get a hold of someone or schedule a meeting, you're disrupted. So self-service allows us to stay in that flow, stay in that zone, work and get things done. The other thing, there's two links. One you'll find below somewhere. One is a free software success review, and that is it's free. It is a short form for you to fill out that then I review, that helps me understand your environment. Then we have a web meeting, or I come on site if you're local, and we go through like, hey, you're paying for Calendly, but you don't need to because you've got that same functionality inside of 365. Or I'm seeing that you're doing a lot of things, you're tracking a lot of things in Excel, and there's things in SharePoint typically can replace that and do a much better job without having to spend a lot of money to make that happen. You may be able to do it on your own. So it is an opportunity for you to save money and time. And then the solution sample list, there'll be a link for that. So we've just looked at self-service solution samples. I have a complete list with tracking triggers and self-service samples, so you can download that, and it will be a thought starter for you um, when you're thinking about ways to improve. Just today I had a conversation with a client, and we were talking about how to use some hours up. And I started mentioning things from a quality perspective, like um, document change requests. Like you need a form to submit because you need to change documents, or an inspection log, or a quality alert, or a quality deviation. Like all of these things are often being tracked on paper, or they're tracked in Excel. Scrap rework, or scrap tracking. Um, again, it's often an Excel file somewhere. And with a SharePoint list, you've got automation you can put behind it. You've got notifications that can send emails out saying, hey, um, please check on this to make sure that it's okay, that we are using a different machine for producing this, or please check on this issue that this customer is having. There's so much that can be done without a lot of work just by leveraging what's inside of 365. Thanks for your time. I'm sure you got something worthwhile out of this video. I look forward to talking with you again. Bye.